Uganda is one of Africa's major wildlife tourism destinations. It attracts more than 1 million visitors a year, but poaching poses a constant threat to Uganda's national parks.
We have just sighted a poacher.
In response, the parks have militarized their conservation efforts.
Today, poachers are not the tradition. Some poachers are ex-combatants, so they need at times a skill which can level with them.
The people who live around the parks say the authorities are going too far.
Rangers find them in the park, they kill them. In my village only, there are more than 20 people.
Villagers say the poaching clampdown is breeding anger and doesn't address the root cause, poverty.
It must be a carrot and a stick. But unfortunately, there will always be the people who do not listen. So you need to bring out the stick as well.
People in power went to Uganda to investigate allegations that people are being killed in the name of conservation. This is Uganda's wildlife court in the capital, Kampala, the first of its kind in Africa. Once a week, handcuffed together, alleged poachers and traffickers are brought here to face trial. They face the court's chief magistrate, Gladys Kamasanyu.
I find myself having a huge duty to ensure that justice is done to the animals, to the environment, to make sure I pass over a safer environment to my children, my grandchildren.
Now there are 7 photos here showing carcass of a baby elephant whose head was crushed.
On trial today is Ongwen Solomon, accused of killing and trafficking wildlife.
Where's the ivory which was on this elephant? Why then the head was crushed? Why was the head crushed?
Uganda is suffering a poaching epidemic, which authorities and conservationists are struggling to contain. Since the Wildlife Court was formed in 2017, Gladys Kamasanyu has presided over more than 1,000 cases.
The skull of a Uganda cook, which has horns, and the one warthog head, what is the mark on it? The 2 teeth of a hippo.
But this case is one of the few that even make it to court.
The percentage of illegal wildlife cases that we are dealing with, the ones that are prosecuted in courts, those ones form a very small percentage of the illegal wildlife trade that goes on out there.
The baby elephant was poached 300 kilometers away in Murchison Falls National Park, the country's oldest and largest game reserve. Many animals here face the threat of extinction, a threat only being made worse by the climate crisis. Uganda's economy depends on wildlife tourism to inject much-needed cash. Poachers put all of this at risk. It's the job of the park rangers to track them.
We have just sighted a poacher. We are suspecting to have seen a poacher at a distance, so we are trying to clear a check with the binos if it is really a poacher, and then we try to plan to maybe effect arrest.
But people living around the park say some rangers are taking the law into their own hands.
Rangers find them in the park, they kill them. In my village only, there are more than 20 people.
More than 20 people who have been killed?
Yes.
That's in the last decade.
2025, we lost 1 person last month, which they gone to fishing. They meet ranger with a boat. Then others they escaped. The other one fall in the water until he died. We did not find even the dead body.
These allegations of extrajudicial killings are widespread around Murchison Falls National Park. People here say dozens have disappeared after encountering rangers in the park. These 4 children are growing up without a father. Their mother is raising them alone. Her husband went into the park last year and never came back. Poaching felt like the only way to support his family. And they say the rangers fired without warning.
We shall patrol the area with the aim of arresting any poacher. We shall patrol the area with the aim of recovering any scenario.
In the park, rangers are getting ready to go on patrol.
You are reminded of the human rights. Once you get a poacher, don't harass him. Put him down very slowly, restrain him, and come back with him.
We are in the northern part of Naashon Falls, where we have a lot of the dirty tooth, mostly wires, cutting of wires. Here incidents there of poaching there every day. You can get almost around 400 individual poachers.
The park's chief warden is a military veteran. His job now is to bring poaching under control.
How have you brought your military expertise to protecting this park?
You say military expertise. We are paramilitary. We are not fully military expertise, but we have got basic training in military.
That training is essential, he says, as some poachers are armed.
Because you appreciate with me that today poachers are not the tradition. Some poachers are ex-combatants. So they need at times a skill which can level with them.
But he insists the allegations of killings are unfounded.
It is good that you even call it allegation. For us, the bottom line is that we don't kill. We arrest. Killing is not a training we have acquired.
But according to this professor's research, some rangers do kill.
In Uganda, it's quite an open secret that these killings are taking place. A few rangers themselves, they told us about the practice of hiding the evidence. So if they have encountered a suspected poacher or a person in the park and someone had been killed on the spot, it would have been very easy for the rangers to actually get rid of the body. If you take all the anecdotal evidence together, this really shows the need for an independent investigation that needs to take place at a national level.
But such an investigation seems unlikely anytime soon, so we carried out our own. We managed to convince a conservationist who used to work in the park to talk to us. For his safety, we agreed to hide his identity.
I worked there for 2 years. I ended up reporting cases to do with how rangers were killing many of the young guys, young people within the community of Nwoya. I received 23 cases of lost lives in 2023. Enforcement rangers were killing local poachers.
He also witnessed the aftermath of a killing with his own eyes.
The community ranger called me while I was in the office. They said the person is in the park. He has been killed by an elephant. But when I reached there was nothing like an elephant that killed the person, because I know the state under which an elephant can kill a person. So I got there, the person was shot on the chest and died. I mean, the chest was shattered with bullet shots. We had to put him in a bag and put in the car and drop it to the community.
Back in Bulisa district, Charles Orembi used to poach in the park until he and his best friend Wilbur were ambushed by rangers.
Wapoi atumuchako wako ngasheliwiwa waneno ranger. Ngera Wilbur jomake, Denis jomake, Bidong de jomako, dana de keno jomako gi. Wabedo wanario. Rezo wabedo na wana bungwen. Dek jomako. Sawa matumu wa kuwanga ni neno nyaju kilesha kilaga kesho neno go kumdong wa winjo majube fudo gire wa winjo nduru sawa mbebe ringo magibe wak nya kudu goy wado wekwa kumusagu wado kudwar.
A lot of villagers told us similar stories. They recount instances of killing and disappearances. In Bulisa alone, we heard accounts of at least 44 killings in the last 5 years. The conflict between local communities and the park goes back to the colonial era.
Before the Europeans came in to colonize, the chiefs and kings of our different tribes and places were in charge. And they had specific areas for hunting. And they would only hunt for food. And it was okay.
The creation of wildlife reserves upset that balance. Tens of thousands of Ugandans were forced off their ancestral land, sparking resentment and conflict that persists to this day.
We are, unfortunately, in a very severe poaching time now. 80% of Uganda's population is under 25 years old. They don't have skills, they're not literate, it's very difficult to get jobs. And often they're very vulnerable to criminal gangs to use them as the front line of the poaching force. We would go on patrols and find industrial-size poaching camps, the piles of bones, the thousands and thousands of snares.
The tools poachers use are as innovative as they are cruel.
So this is a wheel trap made out of the leaf springs of a vehicle. These are probably the most lethal. In terms of snares, any animal, it'll put its limb in, and as it pulls, this will get tighter and tighter and tighter until eventually it will sever that limb or damage it so much that it will cut a tendon or ligament. At one point, 1 in 3 elephants in Murchison had an injury from snares.
People here often see elephants as a threat to their lives and their livelihoods.
We have a challenge of the elephant crossing into the community, destroying the crops, the foods. The matter has been put across to the government, but we could not see any change. The challenge we are getting now, when the animal come and destroy our food, the government cannot take any action. But when the community kill the animal, they can react very fast to arrest the person. They are not minding about the human life.
Wildlife authorities say that's not true and that they've taken measures to support local communities.
We get 20% of all entry fees into the park. It goes to the local communities. We have community conservation programs. We even engage and recruit from within the communities, but unfortunately, there will always be the people who do not listen. It must be a carrot and stick.
In the park, the anti-poaching unit arrives at the location of today's patrol.
My father was a ranger, so I was born, he was a ranger. I grew up in a national park, and that's why I'm here. For the love of nature, a job that paid my school fees. It's the animals, we call them bosses, they are our bosses.
The mood quickly turned serious.
I've gotten a wire snare.
We have more than 2 wires here. We have 2 behind us. There are also more too. So these wires, they are kept in the track where they expect animals to be passing.
Where we are, being a very busy legal activity area, sometimes we can even collect more than 80. Yes, there have been times like during dry season at this particular time, can collect even 100, depending, yes, in a single day. So wires can be very dangerous, and we have had elephants that move without trunks just because of wire snares.
Scenes left behind by the poachers are often gruesome.
We get hungry, that's a fact. When we get on such a scene, we are very angry, but at the end, when we intercept them, we arrest them, we forward them the other side, and they go and fight the law.
Back in Beliso, we tracked down a poacher. He agreed to speak to us, providing that we don't show his face. After his father died, he was left to provide for his siblings. Now, he also has 4 children of his own. He takes us into the bush to show us how he poaches. Hippos are the main victims of poaching here. Exact numbers are hard to find, but by some estimates, as few as 300 are left in the park. A decade ago, there were 6 times as many. Then they heard gunshots. Poachers aren't the only ones endangering their lives. Back in Kampala, authorities keep confiscated ivory in secret locations, as traffickers will do anything to get their hands on it.
If they're left here, it's such a very risky thing because they may come for them. And if traffickers came for them, that would mean death. I mean death because those in charge of the security of court may die. They'll have to kill somebody to get to where we store them. So that's why we can't have them at court. One whole task. So from here to this way was outside the head of an elephant, and from here downwards was embedded in the head of an elephant. This one means bloodshed, means loss. To have elephant ivory, the elephant must die.
Our poacher admits he's involved in wildlife trade, a dangerous but lucrative business.
Agama timu peja chedo ko gidi lumu macha. Ama bor aya ngara chel kere mabino ko senti aya ko kelo gicha. Cholo senti bino kucha macha ko dakwa. Dakapa.
These hippo teeth will likely end up in Asia, where they are sold for up to $3,000 per kilogram. Tonight, if he's lucky, our poacher will get 10. When we put our findings to the head of the Wildlife Authority, he was deeply skeptical.
What evidence do you have that the police and the judiciary hasn't found? Because if people have been killed, the normal thing to do is for those aggrieved to go to police. So I don't think that those numbers are correct.
But the villagers say they have tried to report these deaths to the authorities.
When they bring report home, we can take that matter to police, and even they don't allow us to go and search for a dead body. When we tried, nothing we can do, we bury the clothes.
It's relatively easy to hide any evidence before any independent police or other fact-finding missions can actually enter the park and do their own independent investigation.
For the husband of Evelyn, we did not find the dead body, we buried the clothes.
Murchison isn't the only park facing allegations of abuse. Similar stories are emerging from the south of Uganda at Queen Elizabeth National Park. In Katabu, a village adjoining the park, a school has been set up for the children of dead poachers.
Abana abo mtu atsuka n'abana ngana n'abasatu eshingubi. As I talk now, the number has increased to 96. Atunautema abantu abatwabiramenyerera ababiri kuroma park. On this list there are people who perished in the national park sometimes back.
Others in the village paint an even darker picture. They say at least 100 poachers never came out of the park in the last 5 years, and they suspect they were killed by rangers.
I feel very, very sorry because their children are suffering, their wives they left are also suffering.
We also put these allegations to the head of the Wildlife Authority.
It is inconceivable that in one area you have 100 men killed in 5 years, meaning every month you're losing somebody on that village, and people continue getting into the park because they are getting killed. You think it continues that way? Are they that desperate? The villages you visited, are they that desperate?
With few other ways to make a living, it seems they are.
These parents could go poaching to get school fees for the children and also to get money to facilitate them in other home activities.
Back in Kampala, Gladys Kamasanyu has reached a verdict.
The accused person having admitted the charge today is convicted on each of counts 1 to 6.
Ongwen Solomon will spend the next 15 years in jail. And back in Belisa, Evelyn visits her husband's burial site. With no body to bury and no money for a headstone, it's just a patch of dirt.
Mande mako tingo engineer kama Mungu bikito ge iya mirango ge ngidwaro